All right, guys, welcome back to another video here on the BI Academy channel. And for you, those of you who might be coming into the call, I'll be sure to let you in through the waiting room. We're going to do a quick recording here. This will be available to the public. So for individuals who are seeing this who are not BI Academy students, this is going to be available to you. No introduction. We're going to dive straight into it. Let me see here. We have some people coming into the call. Okay. So I'm happy we were able to get you in here. I disabled the waiting rooms. You should be already able to see my screen. I'm going to dive straight into it, like I said, and this is going to be live trading. So this will be available for individuals who are inside of the academy and not inside of the academy on the BI Academy channel on YouTube. So what we have right here in front of us is Euro AUD, and we were able to short this pretty high up. Actually, we got in close to resistance. I know originally when I first got in, it was up here. We see this black line, and a really simple structure. Euro AUD is breaking down from running up pretty high, and I'm going to zoom out here. Let's go to the monthly chart so we can get a better look at it. And on the monthly chart, you'll see where it kind of chased that, it's chasing those highs. So as of right now, I think Euro AUD can definitely still go higher. It's inside of a pullback phase. I'm going to put some lines on the chart here. And it really, this turning support into resistance, it did it very beautifully. I'm going to make my line blue, and then let's dive in to see, kind of what happened. So we can see that price broke out. Like I said, once again, we're on the monthly. Let me see here. Oh, sorry. Right there. He said he see the YouTube screen. My bad. Hold on 1 second. You guys are not looking at the right screen. Let me share the screen with you 1 second here. I was watching some sports prior to people hopping over. Okay, so, sorry about that. So now you should be able to see what it is that I'm talking about. All right. So, like I said before, Euro AUD is what we're looking at. On the monthly chart, you see it had a break and a retest, and now it's going back up. Let me do a weekly chart. It might be a little cleaner. All right, cool. We're gonna go weekly, and let me hide this. Get this out the way. All right. So, like I said before, what do we have? We had a break and retest. And if you see, it's kind of coming back to test that level now. So here's our break. What was previous resistance became support when we retested it, and now it went back up. So that's what happened. You're seeing that there. That was the break and retest that we saw. Now, what I expect to see from Euro AD, like I said, is exactly what it's doing. It's probably going to push back down, and then from there we can see it bounce. So it can come back down. Might take a while, maybe bounce, and then continue to go back up and retest that retest some of those highs and try to get back to an even higher level because once again, if we bounce back here to the monthly chart, and I'm going to actually delete these drawings. If we bounce back here to the monthly chart, and you'll see that when you zoom out, what's really happening is quite possible, maybe not. I'm gonna close that. There we go. That's a nice clean chart. So it's quite possible that this thing is trying to go higher. I'm going to put the trend line on here from way back when it first started. And this is the forex.com broker account that we're looking at in terms of the trades. So when you do a trend line, it can be a little tricky because with the trend lines, when you draw them, you got to make sure you do. If you really want to be accurate, you should probably do more than one to get a better understanding of what happened with price, or else you'll think that um, you're somewhere on the chart that you're not really there. So the first one I put on here, so the one on top is actually not as accurate as the one that I put secondary to that, the one that's below it. If you see, it captures a lot more data points. And if we delete this one on top, which I'm going to do, really what you're going to see is that we've actually broken out. So this is bullish. And look at if you look at the trend here, I'm going to bring it here and let me look at it now. From this angle, you definitely can see it, the uptrend, right? And we're above that trend line. So like I said, I expect it to continue to go up. Now, the catch 22 to all of it is that if price breaks down below, we do a retest and we can't hold put the raise on there real quick. If we can't hold this level here, so remember support is not a line, it's more of a zone. The two lines I just put on the chart, if we can't hold that level, do expect that your AUD is going to take a pretty handsome drop. It's going to go down pretty far. Now, if we do hold that level, then like I said, I can see it continuing to go up. Don't know exactly what's going to happen, but that's just something to look at. Also, too, this is a bullish pattern here. If you kind of recognize it, it was actually an inverse head and shoulders. If you can kind of see it, you have a shoulder right here. We got a head. We got another shoulder here, and you see price kind of swung. The inverted head and shoulders is nothing but a W, if you would, and then price kind of swung back up from there. Let me clear out the chart. It's getting a little messy, but this is some of the stuff that we're looking at. So if you're a part of the academy already, then you're going to receive these trades once we actually take those trades. I'm looking at a trade right now to possibly send to the chat so that individuals can start making some money. So I think let me look at the last trade we took. It might have been Euro JPY. And I just actually took a trade a little bit earlier on Euro JPY and made some profit, but I want to see how it's going to react prior to sending it out to the chat for more people to get into the trade. Euro GBP is actually the last one we took, and that hit TP. So our take profit definitely got smashed on GBP. That was a really good trade. So what I'm looking at for Euro JPY for this week, especially, is how does it react to these levels? Um, can it break back above? This is the monthly chart for Euro JPY. So like, can it break? I'm gonna drop weekly. Can we come out of this? Like, if we come out of this, break, retest, and start to make some structure, that's definitely showing us some uptrend, right? So we can, expect to probably see it go into price discovery. If we look on the monthly chart, zoom out, you'll see that if it were to break and try to continue up, it's actually going to all-time highs. The euro versus the Japanese yen has never been that high in terms of the valuation between the two currencies. But what I think is actually a greater chance of happening is breaking down. We, break, retest this level, or maybe we shoot down. It could be one of those things where it goes down real fast, real far. I'm sorry, real far, real fast. Maybe not. Once again, the head and shoulders, if you look, shoulder, this one is not an inverted head and shoulders, it's a regular one. All right. So head, shoulder, and then we start to see price go down. So, this one's a lot cleaner. If you're somebody that's especially new to trading, that's a lot cleaner. If you want to become a student, of course, the link will be inside of the description for you to become a student where you can learn how to trade, invest, and become your own bank. And with that being said, of course, you will get trades to take. You don't have to already know how to trade prior to coming into the academy. We will give you trades to take. So, like I said, I'm looking at this level and I'm actually willing to take a trade on Euro JPY again. I hit TP. I took a small risk trade earlier. I did not take a higher risk trade because, like I said, I'm still waiting to see how it reacts to that level. I actually just see that my USD JPY trade hit TP that I was in earlier. Once again, a small risk because we are not fully into the Euro session, so that liquidity is not as it's not as much liquidity, but Let me go back and look at it on my phone now. I traded it Euro JPY from I traded it down to 161 200. Let's see here. With the Hakanashi candles on, it's not going to show the accurate price, so let's come out of that. All right, so right now it's sitting a little bit below 161. So about 20 pips below the take profit that I traded it to before. When I trade, whether I'm shorting or going long, I like to like if I'm gonna re-enter a trade, unless I think it's like a continuation and it has like it's gonna go down pretty far or go up pretty far. I like to let price come back if I can, and let me drop down to a smaller time frame so you understand what I'm saying here, for the people at home. If I've already shorted it, right? So I shorted, up in here, and then price started to go down. I want to see price come back up closer to where I originally got in, or even past that, prior to shorting it again. And so an example would be if I went from, for simple math, 162 to 161 500, that's 50 pips to the downside. I got in at 162 originally. I would like to see price come back to 162 or even above 162 prior to shorting it again. Just because when you do that, it's way more momentum, in terms of what like how price moves. So let's get let's look at the chart to get an example of that. So this is a 2 hour time frame, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about with the strategy that I'm mentioning. So let's say I got in right here originally. This is my first entry, and I shorted it. You see that it went down, so I could have made profit, but then price started to come back up. Well, that's good. I come back and look at the chart again. I would love to short right here because I still think the price is going to go down. I still think I'm in a downtrend, right? So if I put the trend line on there, I still think price is going to go down. I'm still inside of a downtrend, so everything is lining up. But I would much rather short it again at a higher price because now, like I said, you know that it's tried to go up even higher. So therefore, when it starts to go back down, it's going to have a good amount of momentum to it. And so that's exactly what you see. Once again, it started to sell off and a good amount of momentum going down. Um, we are live trading right now, but what you'll notice is that the majority of it is just thinking it through, talking through the trade, and getting a better understanding of like why would you take a trade. If you get more stingy with your trades, and more, uh, sedity, or if you're make a trade confirm itself. You have to be more picky, right? I think is just the perfect word for it. You have to be more picky with the trades if you want to have more accurate, trades, and trades where you're not like as nervous. So if you put in a trade and you're super nervous about that trade, it's probably a trade you should have never even entered to begin with. So, I don't like sitting inside those kind of trades where I have a lot of anxiety. I would much rather do a lot of research, take the trade, very confident, very comfortable inside that trade, and then let it play out. So two things I'm noticing right here is that, the blue MA is coming under the red MA for Euro JPY. I'm expecting a buy. I know it's coming. Um, it's a matter of when it comes. Keep in mind that your JPY has been going up for a very long time. So when you short something that has been going up for a long time, like those moves to the downside are going to be aggressive. So if you see like coming back, we look back in history to the left. Last time we were up in this range, I mean, look at how strong of a move to the downside that was from where I just circled, and then it didn't stop until it got down in here, and then it even came down a little further and made another low before going back up, and creating this uptrend. So this was like the all-time low, and then it starts to come back and do the uptrend and, go back to the upside, right? And that's great. I think let me extend this out. Um, I think that what we're seeing with Euro JPY and just the JPY pairs in general, right? I think that what we're going to see is we're going to see them break back down to make some structure. So break, retest, come back down to this trend line, and then maybe they break below, keep going. maybe it's a fake out. They break below, but then they break back up. They never, or never, they never even go below, but they keep going up from there. Either way, it has to come back to, in my mind, it has to come back to that trend line. And that's what I've been looking to see play out on Euro JPY as well as the other JPY pairs. So I've been shorting those, which is a good reason for people to tap in and watch these videos too, is because you don't have to be a student for you to benefit from the information that you're seeing like right now. So let's see, on the 3 hour, like I said, it's looking as if that buy is going to start trying to set in, but then I drop down to the 2 hour, and it's just it's not as strong. So I use these MAs that you're seeing right now are very, very long-term MAs, 333 days, 666 days. I'm really big on the numerology behind using certain numbers. So most of the time people use very short-term MAs to keep up with price. I like to do a longer term MA so that when I take a trade, even if I have to sit in that trade, especially if you're trading Forex, it is the largest market. And because of that, you don't need a lot of volatility to to steal profit. And at the same time, those because it's not as volatile all the time as something like if you were trading gold or Bitcoin or something like that, you can get not only can you get pretty good spreads, but more importantly is that uh, because it's not as volatile, the trade is going to be slower. So it can take longer for that move to happen. And then sometimes that move can happen very fast, especially with news. And if you got somebody like Donald Trump in office, this move can happen very fast. But yeah, I see this coming down to the downside. I'm actually going to take a trade on it. I'm not going to go as far with that trade. Um, right here is very close to the MA. Whenever it's close to an MA, it's going to react to that MA. Right now, you see on a daily, it's sitting directly at an MA. So whenever it's close to that moving average, you can expect that it's going to start to it's going to react to that. So like if I got into a trade right now, I would not be surprised at all that if I shorted Euro JPY right now, if it turned around and started to buy up on me, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Would not surprise me in the slightest. But you have to set a range. Like I said, that's why I like using longer term MAs. If you're really trading and you want to be proficient, let me see here. Where is the uh, short position? Here we go. So I was going to take a short position and I'm getting in right here. You see the risk to reward. So the risk, the risk to reward ratio is 1 to 1. If I took this trade, but of course, like if you're using TradingView, you can adjust this. Like you can adjust it to where so that would be my stop loss. My TP would be, at the bottom of this candle if you would. You can adjust it to what you want it to be. But yeah, sometimes most 9 times out of 10 your stop loss is going to be longer than your take profit. 9 times out of 10. Now when you get better at trading, then your stop losses get shorter. You get better entry points. But you also learn too with trading is that it's not about really getting those really good entry points. It's really about taking a high probability trade. So like I would much rather have a longer stop loss that is unlikely to get hit, a shorter TP, and then but it's such a high probability of whatever it is I'm predicting to happen to actually happen. So like right now, I think I wouldn't take this trade as far. I'm actually going to drop down to a lower time frame. Let's go to the 45-minute time frame, and we can delete that, and I'll just mark it up myself. So on the 45-minute, I mean, well, first on my stop loss, let me put my. I don't want to see price go above this first black line. I'm going to take a trade live right now. But we do our trading on MetaTrader 4, so you won't see it on my computer screen. I'm going to take a live trade right now. I want to see Right now it's sitting at 161 exactly. So if you know quarter theory, it's going to react to 161. It's going to bounce and probably go up before dropping and breaking 161 and going down below that. Um, but I'm willing to hold that trade a little longer. And so now that I know kind of where I'm at on the chart, I'm going to bounce back down to a little bit lower time frame. And I actually don't have to do too much because the MAs are kind of telling the story here. So I want to get out before the blue MA. So I'm going to set my take profit. Let me look at some support areas here. Okay. Yeah, so I would probably use this as my take profit. Let me turn this. We're gonna go green, green for take profit. Let's go dark green. And let's see, right on there. Where are you at? Uh, oh wow. I just dropped my microphone. Hope that wasn't too loud. Yeah, sorry about that. Let's see here. So it's my take profit. Okay. So the take profit. Um, and then I'm going to do a stop loss above these highs because and I'm going to actually stretch it out a lot further than what it has to be. Um, 'Cause I just wanted to be so improbable for it to get hit. But at the same time, just keep in mind that if there's some news or something like that and it hits your stop loss, it's not going to feel good. As far as the dollar amount that you lose. But, if you are disciplined, um, and without like news or something like that, there's no reason for, especially in Forex, for the chart to move that fast and go up that high. So like if you come to the weekly and you look at my stop loss and my take profit now, let me delete these black ones. Okay. So if you look at my stop loss and my take profit now on the weekly, you see all I did was like I made sure that it's sitting above. Well, let's go to daily. Okay. So stop loss and take profit on the daily, you'll see. First of all, we have a red candle here. This is the candle that we have. This is our daily candle. That does not look right. Okay, it's worse. Let's just do. So yeah, this is our. Um, Here we go. Cool. So that's our daily candle that we have right now, and you see it's nice and red. Okay. And it's closer to the take profit than it is stop loss. But if this candle were to turn around for whatever reason, which it can, this can definitely turn around and become a green candle. But it would, in the perfect scenario, no perfect world scenario, whatever, this candle stays red the next day, even if it was bullish. Like the stop loss is far enough that if you go on like on a weekly time frame, you could have 2 days, like the next 2 days could be bullish and still not hit your stop loss, and then the price comes down to where you thought it was going to be. In Forex, you have to trade knowing that first of all, how long what time frame am I trading on? How long could this possibly take? And then more importantly is that you need to understand that because it does not move the same way, it will purposely, this is not based on assets, it's based on currencies. Currencies can do whatever. They don't have to make sense. It could easily try to come hit your stop loss. Don't even make it. It could start shooting up, go for the stop loss, never hit it, boom, and then come back down, hit your TP. So we want to give it that range. We want to give enough space to move with, and have that volatility. So I'm going to trade it from. I'm not going to take a very far trade. I'm going to do from 161 to on Euro JPY. I'm trading Euro JPY from 161, and I am going to put in a short, trading it from 161 down to 160. I want to go to 160. Let's see here. So, like I said, once again, it's how long you want to stay in that trade. How the price is currently moving as well as I'm saying this. So I'm trying to get a good look at this. So yeah, I'm gonna go from let's go from 161 to 933. So from 161 to 169 933, which is not a far trade. Okay, that is not a far trade. Our stop loss actually doesn't have to be that far. It's on the computer. It's actually on the phone is when you really get to see just how far that is. On the computer, it doesn't seem that far, but that's actually pretty far. So our stop loss is going to be 162. Um, let's go 162 550, or we can do 160. We could do 162 500, but let's just do 162 600 just to be on the safe side. And we're gonna let that. We're gonna let that, start to fluctuate. I'm actually in profit right now. I just took that trade, and I'm actually in profit right now on that trade. So if you're an individual, you're inside the chat, make sure you put that trade in, and you should, be maximizing that trade. You should already know how to do that. We got videos on that. I'm screenshotting it now. I'm sending it out to the chat. So for the people that's already inside the people that's in the chat, but maybe you weren't hopping on live, they'll be receiving that here soon. And for you at home, if it would be too late for you to get this by the time that because we are not on YouTube Live, this will be too late by the time you see it, but you can always back test and check to make sure that we're not capping and that we actually took this trade. You can back test to see exactly what happened with the trade and the outcome of it. And more importantly, is that we will do some YouTube lives. But from the information that was given, hopefully you got some value from it and you understand that your JPY is going to be going down most likely over the longer term, meaning probably the next couple months into in this year, it'd probably be bearish for this year. So plenty of other opportunities for you to short this and take advantage of some of these setups that you saw here today. So thank you for tuning in and watching this video. As always, better investments equals a better future, and we'll see you inside the next video.